And it's been a while, and it's great to be back here from you. So for today, we have a progress presentation by Fadila Jokota-Degiwa, and her topic is on BIM evidencing and claim identification for claim resolution. And she will be, she is expecting, she's presenting her work with the expectation that comments and questions that will make her work better. So whatever contribution you have to make, because I think she said she has her second presentation. I don't know if it's Viva or Defense. I didn't really get to it. It's her second presentation and she wants to be ready. So she has come for us to prep her. So Fadila, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody, and nice to meet with you all today. And I'm really happy that you are all here, and any comments will be well appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay, so like Ms. Donya said, I'll be presenting my work on BIM evidencing and claim identification in order to aid the resolution of claims in the construction industry. I'm focusing my work on quantity surveyors because I believe that quantity surveyors are the professionals that are liable to do this and perform this role perfectly in the industry. My research area is the United Kingdom, and I'll start my presentation now. Thank you very much. What's wrong? Okay, so the content of my research, my presentation would entail the background, the research problem, the aim and objectives of the research, some little literature review, the research method, the preliminary findings I've made so far, and the research timeline. Now, what do we understand by the claim in the construction industry? Claim is actually a situation whereby one of the contracting parties in a construction contract is asking for monetary compensation or an extension of time when it comes to carrying out the project. Now, claim is something that has really overwhelmed the construction industry, and it's something that we cannot do away with. As much as construction parties or construction teams try to eradicate it, there are so many things that it causes within the project. It's either it increases the cost of the project or extends the time of the project, which causes a client or a project or a contractor to claim. Now, there are several challenges. There are several challenges that okay, so there are challenges. The challenges in trying to solve the claims is actually finding a better way to present the claim, whereby both parties would get to an amicable resolution of the claim. Now, previously, the traditional way of resolving a claim entails piling up paperwork and trying to compile contemporaneous records, which can be very, very tedious, using the 2D method that the construction industry has been used to. Now, we are trying to introduce technology, digitalization into resolving the claims, which can also cut the time spent on resolving the claim and also achieve an amicable resolution of the claim, where all evidences will be made known to both parties. Now, how do we do this? The research problem in this case is that the 3D visualization of BIM, of BIM, and the abilities of BIM have not been really used in claim. Most times, quantity surveyors use BIM for cost estimation, taking off, and all of that. But then, how do we channel these BIM capabilities into resolving the claims? So there are several papers that have been written in regards to BIM and quantity surveying, but just a few has been written in regards to BIM and claim identification. So we are trying to, in this research, I'm trying to see how the practice of claim management, BIM in claim management has been reached in the construction industry, and how the quantity surveyors have actually used it right here in the United Kingdom. Now, the aim of my research is actually to also to design a framework using the design science research method, which I'm going to discuss later, where the framework will be used to suggest better ways in which all these organizations and all these practices can adopt BIM in resolving claim. So they don't have to spend so much time and expend so much cost in trying to resolve the claim. One of the objectives of my research is to determine the challenges in the use of BIM in claim identification and evidencing. Majorly in trying to identify potential claims, you have to be able to forecast. So the BIM softwares or BIM technology can help you forecast whatever the claim might actually be. It also would help you to evidence it when you are trying to resolve it. Also, one of my objectives is also to describe and evaluate the steps involved in BIM-enabled claim identification. Also to illustrate and evaluate claim evidencing procedures using BIM technology, and to suggest BIM as a single path for truth in identifying and evidencing claim. Now, claim in the construction industry. I've actually discussed this earlier, but like I said, it's a legal action against another party to seek money, property, or an enforcement of legal rights. Now, the problem, like I said, is how to manage the claim and how to ensure a peaceful resolution of the claim within the industry, which is a big question that has faced construction professionals. Now, there are different things that could cause claim in the industry: varying site conditions, delays, modification of design, discrepancies and in interpretation, acceleration or work suspension. And there are different claim management processes, which is the claim prevention. We try to prevent it, we mitigate it; claim identification and quantification, which is a major part that the QS has to play. Then the claim resolution, which is the final stage of the claim, where you can quantify the award and award the suitable amount to the claiming party, to the claimant. Now, there are two-step process to dispute resolution, majorly to determine the claim eligibility and also to refer claim disputes to adjudication. That is if it has not been resolved between both parties. Now, within this process, there are different things that has to be done. You disclose the claim, you give an initial judgment of the claim, you discuss between both parties, probably if they are going to accept a negotiation, and ADR, that's the alternative dispute resolution, and reach an amicable settlement. Now, it is when negotiation doesn't work, or where negotiation doesn't work, then they can proceed to other dispute resolution techniques, probably litigation or adjudication. Now, what is BIM in its state? People believe that BIM is technology and all of that, but then BIM involves not only the technology, which is probably the software, but then it involves the people, the process, and the policy behind it. Now, the construction industry has been lacking in the methodology that can be used in managing all these claims. So the effectiveness of BIM can be used in amicable resolution of this claim. The BIM automation process, the fact that the BIM can save records, and you can make reference to the time and dates when these risk events happened. So these are the ways BIM can help in doing it. And when you apply BIM in claim resolution or dispute resolution, it's also called forensic information modeling. So when you see anything forensic information modeling, you should know that it's BIM that is used in solving anything that has to do with disputes or making findings on the project. Now, we have several researchers have researched on it, and they have said that with the use of BIM can reduce the potentiality of claim by 55.2%, and it can provide about 48% savings in time and in preparing the claim. And you know, the BIM common data environment would help each and every party in the contract to know the information and how the program and the project progresses. Now, I was able to get the comparison between the traditional method of resolving claim and the BIM-enabled method of resolving claim. Now, this would help us to know the discrepancies between both methods and how to choose better and what to use. Then this is a framework that I designed and all of that. But then in actually evaluating this, there was an initial framework that I drew. And in the process of data collection, I try as much as possible to show my my respondents this, so that they can verify and evaluate if this is quite correct. They try to validate using this. Now, the quant surveying practice, like I said, we are the professionals that are saddled with the construction management and cost management of the project, which also involves managing the claims on the project, because claims is a source of cost increase and increase in budget and time. So the QS has the potential to do all of these. Now, what can we do? How can the QS use the BIM in resolving claims? Because of the database reliability of BIM and the data coordination and data visualization, the QS can improve cost estimate reliability. Now, what is the research method? I said earlier that I'll be using the design science research method, which entails carrying out interviews, interviews, and also doing case studies, a comparative case study of firms that have used BIM in their practice and those that have not used BIM. Now, when I did this, I drew a DSR framework that shows each and every step involved in my data collection and the method. So in trying to understand the problems, I carried out about 8 interviews, and subsequently, I'm also going to carry out the case study. Now, the case study would give me a typical definition of what the problem is. Yeah, I've actually defined the problem using the interviews, but having to go in depth, the case studies will help me to get data, in-depth data in the industry. So like I said, I designed a first version of my framework, which was validated by expert opinions of the professionals I carried out the interview with. So which was the framework I showed earlier, and then I improved on it. So like I said, I'm using the semi-structured interview and a comparative case study of BIM-enabled practices and non-BIM compliant practices. Then, like I said, the way I collected my data and I carried out my interview was that I drafted some questions and I validated these questions by giving the questions to one of my supervisors and also validating it outside from another professional within the academics in a university outside my university. So in doing this, I carried out pilot studies. Initially, I had just a very short discussion with a friend of mine who happens to be a QS in one of the top practices in the UK. And she told me about how they are doing things in their industry. Then after the study, after all of this, I asked my respondents, based on the questions that I've validated, I asked them questions through a face-to-face interview, majorly online due to the COVID pandemic. Then I transcribed my data and all of that. So, okay, so this was how I was able to identify potential respondents. And majorly, LinkedIn helped me in identifying so many respondents, and I got referrals from some of my respondents also. Then what are my findings? Now, these are the questions I asked. I tried to determine what is the problem in traditional process that could make an organization want to adopt BIM. Then I went further to also ask questions on the challenges they can face when they are implementing BIM and the opportunities that they think that they can explore using BIM technology. So most of them actually talked about, said that because of the BIM, the capabilities of visualizing the model and being able to refer back, and the fact that BIM technology can help them keep those records in a way that they can make quickly refer to it. That's why they think they can use BIM. And also the fact that the CDE, which is the common data environment of the BIM, would help them share the data, any information on the BIM, which invariably would not make anything unknown to anyone. Most of them would have current information and they can know what is going on the project. Furthermore, I asked questions about how do they validate claims. Fine, traditionally you have to give a claim notification, but then when you are using BIM, how do you do that? How do you ensure that, okay, fine, I've quickly notified of a claim and I can quickly validate it? So most of, like I said, you have to refer to, most of them said you have to refer to the contract conditions, and also you have to also evaluate the BIM evaluation plan, the execution plan, sorry. So these are my findings. Majorly, it all boils down to the conditions of contract and the record keeping ability of the claimant, so that when they want to claim, when they want to present their claim, they have good evidences towards all of that. Now, in literature, it was said that because BIM claim does not have a dimension in BIM, it probably is the reason why people don't use BIM in claim. But no, the professionals that I asked, the respondents also said that it doesn't have to be that BIM claim is a dimension, but then you just have to use best practice in ensuring that your service is well delivered. That claim is not a dimension does not mean that you shouldn't use the best technology in resolving any issues in your contract. Also, when I talked about the level of development, actually one thing that one of my respondents said was that the level of development is not something that is well known by every party. Fine, we understand that LOD, theoretically it's written as LOD, but some people do not understand the concept of LOD. So he now said that, well, for him, it's better to have the level of detail of 500, okay, because LOD is rated from 1 to 5, so that when issues of claim occurs, they can actually refer to the model, and the model will be suitable for them to use. So furthermore, there are other questions, and all of these, most of my respondents gave very good answers, which have been presented here in the presentation slides. I'm really sorry I might not be able to go through every of their responses and every of their of the questions that I asked, because it's quite long, and most of these have been presented here. And okay, so also I asked if BIM enabled claim management, which is one of the objectives that I have, that BIM enabled claim management would it help any organization to obtain sustainability of their practice. All of the answers I got was that yes, it could, because it will help the cash flow of the company, and which would also help them to deliver their services right and ensure that things are fine with the industry. So the advice that they gave for any organization that is willing to embark on a BIM journey is that you have to review your internal processes and the construction process, and also to ensure that to study previous projects and study any BIM enabled projects to understand the loops and the shortcomings in their organizational processes, and also to test different and varying amounts of softwares, basically, just to ensure that the one they decide to use works with their practice, and to also be very, very patient in order to enjoy the return on the investment of their BIM investment. So thank you very much. I have quite a number of responses, but then I can't actually start talking about that one after the other due to the constraint of time. So, but I believe that at the end of this research, I'll be able to make good inferences from the data collected, and also to be able to suggest better ways of BIM practice within most of these organizations. Thank you very much, and God bless. Thank you. Okay, so okay, sorry, just a minute. I need to talk about this. Another thing is most people said there is no BIM software, but recently I saw this web-based software. Actually, it's more of a survey that helps you to put in every detail of the project or claim events, so that it can help you to measure the strength of the claim and the possibility of you winning a claim or not. So it's actually named Lamina. It's a survey-based software which helps you. You can use it and it gives you the strength of the claim within 10 minutes. So, and I feel it's a good step in the right direction to BIM-enabled claim management. So thank you very much. And I said my research timeline, I'm expected to finish my research by next year, and at this time I'm expected to have started my case studies. So thank you, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was a nice presentation. It opened my eyes to something new about BIM claiming, BIM, making claims with BIM. So now it's time for the Q&A session. And I don't know if anyone, if there's anyone that wants to go first, raise your hand or type a question in the box or just ask.